Excuse me, he needs to get back to work.
The fuck out of here, it's not your business.
I'll go 5 minutes.
I was respectful. Get out of here. Don't come back.
Vámonos. Vámonos. Ya.
He's a cop.
Are you a cop?
Nah,
Let's check for that badge.
I didn't come here to be disrespected.
You heard the man.
Let's play.
Get him.
It all begins with Levon Cade, a former Royal Marine Commando, now living in his car and working as a well-respected lead on a construction site owned by the Garcia family, Joe, his wife Carla, and their daughter Jenny. One day, Cade notices a group of gangsters roughing up a close co-worker. Without hesitation, he attacks the men, showcasing refined combat skills.
Excuse me.
I'm good, boss. I'll go 5 minutes.
The fuck out of here, it's not your business.
When more men show up with guns, Cade pulls out a shotgun and warns them never to show their faces again.
Don't come back.
Later, Jenny comes by to bring him lunch. She's astonished by his abilities and asks him to teach her, recalling how her grandfather was a paratrooper and had taught her a few things. Cade simply replies that she hasn't really seen anything. Afterward, he heads out to pick up his daughter, Mary, from her wealthy grandfather, Dr. Roth, with whom he has a strained relationship. Roth, fully aware of Cade's military background, coldly points out that he's an unsafe parent and a killer, insisting he'll never be around for Mary, just as he wasn't around for his own daughter.
You're an unsafe parent. You weren't there when a mother needed you, and you won't be there when Meredith needs you. You want to strike me. You're a killer. You can't pretend that you're not.
This angers Cade, but he leaves without much to say. In the car, Mary tells him she didn't eat anything at her grandpa's house because she wanted to have lunch with him instead. This small gesture helps make up for the earlier disrespect. During lunch, Cade gives her a photo of herself and her mother. Mary is thrilled, admitting that sometimes she forgets what her mother looked like. She confesses she's angry at her mother for dying and leaving them, but Cade tells her it's okay, he once felt the same way. The next day, Cade goes to meet with his lawyers, as he's locked in a custody battle with Dr. Roth over Mary. Things aren't looking good for Cade. His injuries and PTSD from deployment make the case much more difficult. To make matters worse, his visitation must now be supervised, and the time is reduced to just 1 hour per week. The lawyers wonder why Dr. Roth harbors such hatred toward him, and Cade reveals that he's being blamed for the death of Roth's daughter. Although he wasn't directly involved, he was always away on deployment, and she ultimately lost her fight with depression. The lawyers point out that Roth's wealth allows him to hire powerful attorneys, making it almost impossible for Cade to win. Still, Cade is determined to fight. He soon finds himself a rundown apartment and moves in. That night, Jenny and her friends go out into town to party and drink at a club, unaware that a group of men is watching them from a distance. After leaving the club, the girls head to a bar. The bartender, appearing to take interest in Jenny, asks her name, but then quietly alerts some men waiting in a van outside. Jenny helps her drunk friend to the restroom and is heading back when she's grabbed and dragged to the waiting van. On Monday, Cade returns to work only to learn that Jenny has been missing for the entire weekend. With the police unwilling to help much, the family turns to Cade, asking him to find her. Joe, knowing Cade's military past, pleads with him to use his skills and even offers him up to $70,000. Cade refuses, insisting that it's just not who he is anymore. Cade then visits his blind war buddy, Gunny Lefferty, seeking advice on what path he should take. Gunny tells him that if he truly intends to save Jenny, he has to go all in, but can already tell that Cade has made up his mind and is merely seeking permission to act. Cade goes to visit the Garcias and is led to Jenny's room, where Joe is silently drinking and watching a video of her piano recital. Cade feels the family needs all the support they can get, but he finds himself unable to face them. He knows Joe is a good man, he was the only one who helped him after he left the military, and Cade can't bear to see him like this. He takes the bottle of alcohol from Joe's hand and promises that he will bring Jenny home. Cade begins tracking Jenny and his investigation leads him to the bar where she was last seen. Inside, he notices the bartender, Johnny, engaging in shady transactions with the customers. Out back, Cade finds the security cameras have been cut and discovers a single pearl from Jenny's necklace. Later, Johnny closes the bar and heads to his car. Unknown to him, Cade has planted a tracking device and follows him back to his apartment. While Johnny is inside getting high, Cade breaks in and holds him at gunpoint before he can reach for his own weapon. He forces Johnny to sit down, shows him a photo of Jenny, and demands to know her location, suspecting Johnny knows the men who took her. Johnny swears Jenny left the bar drunk and that he already told the cops everything. Cade doesn't believe him and begins to waterboard Johnny in the bathtub. Johnny warns that Cade has no idea who he's dealing with, but Cade just wants names.
Just know you'll give me names.
Just then, two men arrive at the apartment, calling for Johnny. Cade holds Johnny at gunpoint but ends up killing the intruders when they open fire and kill Johnny. He soon realizes the two men were members of the Russian mafia. He takes some of their cash and leaves. Elsewhere, Jenny is being held in an unknown location, seemingly losing her mind due to the trauma. Cade stays posted outside Johnny's apartment when a car pulls up. Two gangsters in colorful clothes arrive along with their uncle, Wolo Lalisnik, a high-ranking member of the Bratva, the Russian mafia. The men enter the apartment and quickly deduce that someone killed Wolo's men and stole $90,000 of the mafia's money. Wolo swears to find whoever is responsible. Soon after, a professional cleanup team arrives at the apartment, and Cade takes note of the timeline of events. Once Wolo and his crew leave the apartment, Cade follows them in his truck all the way to Wolo's mansion. Cade parks a distance away and sets up his gear in the nearby bushes to surveil the property. Inside, Wolo is still stressed about the earlier events and ends up slapping a woman, who pulls a knife but storms out and drives away. Cade takes this opportunity to break into the mansion, attacks Wolo with hot coffee, and knocks him out.
I was hungry. I'm gonna take the tape off. You know who I am. Should I? Fuck you! That's for slapping that woman this morning. That woman was my wife. That's for slapping your wife. I don't care about your business. I'm looking for a young lady.
I don't understand.
A 19-year-old girl was kidnapped.
Jimmy. What do you want? All of this is for a girl?
I'm gonna bring her home. Not stopping until I do.
What are you? Who are you?
Fuck you!
Cade recalls Wolo mentioning someone named Demi and decides to find this man. Sometime later, one of the Bratva's bosses, Simon Karchenko, arrives at Wolo's home. He watches the surveillance footage of Cade killing Wolo and wonders about his motives. Wolo may have been a good businessman, but his son Demi is a troublemaker, and Simon suspects he's involved. He orders his men to track down Cade and bring him in alive. Jenny is brought food by one of her masked captors, a woman. Jenny tells her they have the wrong person, but the woman pulls a golden gun and coldly warns her to be quiet and just eat. Cade contacts a DEA agent to gather intel on Demi, who is suspected of being involved in human trafficking. The agent confirms Demi is Wolo's son and gives Cade the location of a bar where Demi usually hangs out, but warns him to be careful. Cade heads to the spot, a biker bar, and walks straight to the counter to order a drink. Meanwhile, Artemis, the woman monitoring the bar's security cameras, spots Cade and notices the gun he's carrying. Suspecting he's a cop, she sends a man named Dougie to handle the situation. Dougie approaches Cade, who flashes a stack of cash, so Dougie leads him to another part of the club to speak with his boss, Dutch. Cade claims he's there to buy product, but Dutch, suspicious, demands that he empty his pockets. Cade refuses, prompting Dutch to signal his men to surround and jump him. But instead, they get the surprise of their lives as Cade viciously beats them down one by one.
Let's play. Get him.
He takes out the last man and is about to finish him when Dutch stops him. Dutch knows he's not a cop, but from Cade's skills, he must have served, and Dutch admits he's done his fair share of military service too. Cade arranges a deal to purchase drugs from Dutch, who gives him a time and place. The next day, Cade arrives at a diner where Dougie and Artemis are waiting to complete the deal. Cade takes a seat, and Artemis pulls a golden gun under the table. She is the masked woman who has been holding Jenny. Cade hands over the cash, and Dougie gives him a phone because they don't trust him. Cade warns Dougie not to end up a victim and thanks Artemis for not shooting him before leaving. While driving, he gets a call from Dutch, who reveals the drugs were under his seat the entire time. As he passes over a bridge, Cade tosses the drugs into the river. Viper and Artemis bring a drugged-out Jenny to a client who has paid a large sum of money to have his way with her, noting she reminds him of a painting. A few minutes later, the client stumbles out of the room with a massive wound on his face. Jenny has bitten him, and he furiously demands that she be killed. Meanwhile, Cade checks in with Dutch and tells him that his people like the product. Dutch expresses interest in doing more business, but says Cade will need to meet his business partner before they proceed. Cade gets himself a suit and arrives at the meeting location, where heavily armed gangsters keep watch. He is brought to a table where Dutch is seated with his business partner, who turns out to be Demi. Cade locks eyes with him but controls himself, even as Demi runs his ID to ensure he isn't a cop. The two shake hands and Demi hands over the product before Cade leaves. In the bathroom, Cade dumps all the drugs into the toilet. The following night, Cade sits in his truck outside the biker bar, surveilling the building, but Artemis spots him on the cameras and alerts the gangsters to his presence. Cade sees the car speeding toward him, so he jumps out, steals a motorcycle, and speeds off. The gangsters give chase, opening fire, but Cade manages to stay ahead. They attempt to cut him off, but he zips through the bushes, eventually crashing into a police car. The gangsters catch up, but it turns out the police are working with them.
Show me your hands.
You're in the payroll too.
Cade is knocked out by a cop and handed over to two gangsters wearing sweatsuits. Inside the van, the two men reveal they are Wolo's nephews and the sons of Simon Karchenko. As they attempt to bind Cade's feet, he launches an attack, initiating a struggle over the gun.
Tie up his legs.
Cade swiftly kills the brothers, frees himself, and escapes the wreckage before the vehicle slides into a river. Simon says a tearful goodbye to his sons at the morgue, then demands the Bratva War Council be assembled. Viper and Artemis meet with Demi, who is furious that Jenny attacked the client. He threatens to cut off one of Artemis's fingers for their sloppy work but instead orders both of them to kill Jenny and dump her body. Meanwhile, Simon informs the Bratva Council of his son's deaths and outlines his plan for retribution. Dimi is partying at his club when one of Simon's men storms in and opens fire, shutting down the party and leaving Dimi cowering in a corner. Simon approaches him and explains what happened to his sons. Dimi insists he has no idea who Cade is, until Simon shows him a video of Cade. He realizes it's the same man he met with during the drug deal. Dimi shows Simon a photo of Cade's fake ID, and Simon warns him that Cade is hunting him. They manage to uncover Cade's real identity and soon track down Dr. Roth's residence. Cade receives a call informing him that no one showed up to pick Mary up, so he heads out to get her. Mary jokes, asking if he finally took Grandpa out. Cade tells her that bad men are after him and those close to him, and he asks her to track Roth's location on her cell phone. They discover that Dr. Roth has not left his home, prompting Cade to rush over, only to find the house engulfed in flames. He breaks into the burning structure and discovers Roth bound and left to die. Cade rescues him and drags him outside. Even after being saved, Dr. Roth blames Cade for bringing the Russian mafia to their doorstep, telling him that violence follows him wherever he goes. But Mary stands up for her father, reminding Roth that Cade could have left him to die.
They were looking for you. Violence follows you like a cloud.
Cops can't stop them.
Cade instructs Roth to stay at the hospital, where he'll be safe. He plans to take Mary to stay with Gunny for a while. Gunny asks if Cade really thinks he can find Jenny, but Cade affirms that he will, and he believes Dimi is the key. Gunny hopes Cade is ready to kill his way out the same way he killed his way in and opens the door to a room filled with weapons. Cade fills several bags with guns and gear and brings them back to his car. Mary wants to come with him. She doesn't want him to get into trouble alone, but Cade promises he will return for her. They share a heartfelt hug and say goodbye. Meanwhile, Artemis and Viper are transporting Jenny. She begins reciting the Lord's Prayer. Artemis mocks her, thinking she's praying out of fear, but Jenny was drawing strength. She suddenly launches an attack, causing the car to crash. She escapes and starts running through the woods, with Artemis and Viper close behind. Jenny manages to free her arms and sprints away, leaving Artemis and Viper frustrated and increasingly worried. Jenny comes across two police officers, the only ones who seem to be working in the area. The officers help her into the car, but to her horror, they drive her right back to Artemis and Viper. Just as Artemis and Viper hold her at gunpoint, the client from earlier calls. Despite his injuries, he's changed his mind and wants a second chance with Jenny, saying he wants her just as dirty as she is. Dimi, high on his own supply, is lounging when Cade breaks into his hideout and begins silently eliminating the gangsters. An explosion goes off, alerting the rest of the men, but Cade expertly kills them all. Eventually, he comes face to face with Dimi, who's holding a random woman at gunpoint, offering Cade a deal to spare his life. Cade shoots Dimi in the hand, disarming him. He shows Dimi a photo of Jenny and demands to know her location. Dimi denies knowing who she is. When Cade presses him, Dimi offers to exchange Jenny's life for his own. He leads Cade to a mansion deep in the woods where wealthy clients are gambling, and Jenny is part of the prize. Cade asks why Jenny was chosen, and Dimi explains that their recruiter, Viper, scouts bars and takes photos of beautiful girls. These images are then sent to clients, who select the women they want kidnapped. Dimi shrugs it off, saying it's just business. But Cade reminds him these are human lives. Dimi questions why Cade is going to such lengths for one girl. Cade learns Dimi has no daughter, and tells him he wouldn't understand. He then executes Dimi with a bullet and gears up for the mission ahead. Cade kills one lookout posted in a tree, then takes out two more guards stationed outside the building. Inside, Jenny is tied up in a room, and the client is informed she is ready. He soon confronts her again. Jenny, on the verge of breaking, wonders aloud what she did to deserve this. The client coldly tells her, nothing, and picks up a blade. Cade throws a grenade to blow open the hallway, kicking off a brutal and intense gunfight. He eliminates men left and right with ruthless efficiency. Outside, Dutch and his biker gang arrive.
Good luck. meet you, Levon. My fight wasn't with you.
I know, brother.
Inside the room, Viper is holding his gun to the door, trying to calm the client and reassure him that everything will be fine. Cade, gun in hand, searches for Jenny. He kills the client and frees her, allowing her to fight Artemis. He then brutally beats Viper, slamming his head repeatedly before snapping his neck. Jenny locks Artemis in a leg chokehold around her neck, eventually breaking it and killing her. At that moment, Simon's two hitmen arrive, but they find no sign of Cade inside. A police car shows up, but even though they're on the same side, Simon's men destroy the car with gunfire. Cade breaks Jenny free and instructs her to stay close. As they move, they encounter Simon's hitmen. Gunfire erupts, and Cade kills one with surgical precision before blowing the other up with a grenade as he reloads. Cade and Jenny escape on a motorcycle, unaware that Simon is watching from the shadows. Simon calls his brother to report that Cade and Jenny escaped. But his brother tells him to let Cade go. Simon, filled with rage over the deaths of his sons, refuses to back down. However, his brother reminds him that the Bratva comes first and that no one will support him. Simon is left seething. Cade returns Jenny to her family, who are gathered and stunned to see her alive. Overwhelmed with emotion, they embrace her in relief and joy. Cade then visits Gunny's home. Jenny is thrilled to see him. Gunny is pleased to hear that he got the girl and survived the ordeal. Cade tells him, they really tried their best, before settling in for dinner. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a wonderful day.